Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here at the largest Central European event for investors, for entrepreneurs, and for business people. The next 30, 50 minutes are for you. I dedicate the time for you so you can learn what are the newest trends, how you can apply them, and I want to enlighten you also a little bit what are the newest elements in strategy, how you can apply trends in real life. I will be a little bit interactive. I will speed up and speed slow. I will repeat myself sometimes. So I have two things for you. The same value, a cigar and my latest book. So if you are able to take some pictures, post them. I will rate them afterwards at 11 o'clock in terms of quantity and quality, and then one of you can get this. But the session is for you. So I'm trying to make it a little bit personally. So people today see me as the Industry 4.0 originator, and they see me as a futurist. But the truth be told, I'm not really a futurist. I'm a strategist. So most people you hear about futurism today are storytellers, right? What I do, my core field the last 20 years is I'm researching in strategy. And within strategy, one of the fields you look at is you look at megatrends. And megatrends, my field is patternicity. So I'm looking at repeatable pattern for best practices, performance patterns, and leading practices, and how you do that. It's a little bit scientific, but it's actually based on semantics, ontologies, on statistical elements. It's actually a hardcore science. Normally when I go through this, and I'm doing that with the universities around the world, people are glazing over because it gets bored. But the truth be told, the trends that I announced in 2008 haven't changed since then, and we're checking it every year. We're looking at the probabilities, inclination. So most of what I'm coming with is actually a clear view for you when what will hit in which time frame. So let's go. The next 10 years for Poland, for Europe, there are 4 major megatrends. And the 4 major megatrends I will go through with you today. One is technology convergence. Big technology trends converge together, and when they collide together, they create a certain aspect to it. I will go through AI a little bit with you, but from a different aspect. I will demonstrate for you the hype cycle. I will demonstrate for you how companies apply it, and I will demonstrate for you what the biggest potential is for Poland. The big revenue potential for Poland in AI is the bio-revolution. And the bio-revolution is Europeans' AI version on how we will capitalize on this. And then I will go through the regulatory disruption. The regulatory disruption that is happening in Europe and globally is based on the Paris Agreement. And it's a rare opportunity for everybody of you that sits here to make revenue. It's a rare opportunity for manufacturers, for businesses, where they can grow and outcompete based on regulations. Normally, regulation is something that happens to you, and you have to comply to it. This is a rare occasion, so I will take a little bit time to go through that. And then the last bit is the mega trends that happens within business. How you can operate to grow. That hasn't happened before. I've been in strategy for 20 years. This is the first time that you can operate to grow. So I will go through that a little bit. So take out your cameras, take some pictures, and enjoy. So these are the 77 megatrends of the 4th Industrial Revolution. And they are set up like a periodic table. So you have the red ones are the technology. You have the regulatory trends, you have the workforce trends, the environment trends, the globalization trends, the demographics trends, and the consumer trends. The reasons why the 4th Industrial Revolution is so big, disruptive. It changes every aspect of our life, how we live, consume, how we compete, how our society works, every aspect faster than ever before. And the reasons why is because it's mega trends that are colliding together. When I did the strategy for Germany in 2008, remember that was the time Europe was in a crisis, economic crisis. Germany is the mother of Europe. When Germany is not growing, rest of Europe is not growing after a while. So we were focusing on how to get productivity up. And we looked at the megatrends, and we saw 5 megatrends. And we realized they're colliding together. We call that the digital agenda. We realized that the virtual, the physical, and the augmented reality is colliding together. When you look at your phone today, this has happened. So after a couple of beers, a half year later, we realized it's even worse. It's the 77 megatrends that collide together over a period until 2050. So the fourth industrial revolution is not a revolution, it's an evolution in 8 stages. And each of these stages bring a fundamental paradigm shift in every way we live. So the key essence of the fourth industrial revolution is people. People have an ability to adapt. So even though you will feel everything around you is changing, this is how it's disrupting around. So the environment revolution was a silent one, but it will affect all of you. It's all on your agenda. That's why Europe is struggling today, because they decided to pay for the bill, right? Economic revolution, all the pillars you see today. For those of you who don't know, the European Central Bank is the first one that went off GDP. Last summer, they're not focusing on GDP. So GDP is your output. They're looking at how much are you emitting in your year. So they're looking at how much you are polluting the environment, and they're taxing it via carbon credit. So it's a very different way to look at it, because we have an older population. The economic pillars we have in OECD, the growth models, are not working anymore. Everything within our economic system is unhinged. That is the economic revolution. That means everything we are normally standing on is swimming like this. There's nothing that we can hold on. This drives the big economic revolution. The one element that is our opportunity, I will go through that a little bit later, is the bio-revolution. It's Poland's opportunity. Then we have the consumer revolution, the fusion revolution, and we have the quantum reality revolution. So they're coming in stages. So if anybody comes to you and says, Industry 5.0, they're BSing. They don't know what they talk about, because it's emerging in different phases. So let me go back to the convergence trends. When you look at this, AI is one element. Can I ask these 2 people I asked to come up? I want to demonstrate something for you, because if you get this, you understand why megatrends are so important. And on purpose, I chose a male and a female version. When you look at AI, AI is one of the trends up there. This one right there, right? The third one in a row. Come here. So he's a male by archetype, and she's a female by archetype. So a megatrend like artificial intelligence has a male and a female version. What does that mean? The male version is a force. So I'm forcing every change on him. New models, new AI regulations, right? And the more I force, the more he gets out of balance where he stands. His mode of operation, he needs to transform to the forces that happens. If not, his operating model gets out of balance. That is what we call in megatrends transformation. Most of you in AI today, with what you see from the US, will have to transform to adapt to something. The female version is a driver. For me to capture her, I need to be proactively out in order to capture her. That means if I want to innovate, I need to invest and align. I need to, if everybody swims in his direction, the opportunity for innovation resides in here, in the bio-revolution, developing something new, investing, aligning. Innovation is the most difficult part because everything we see in megatrends is transformation, something we have to do. So when you look at these two attributes, a trend has two things you have to focus on. One thing is to adapt to your business, and one thing is to focus on what to invest in. Thank you very much. Give them a hand. So now, since you know this, let's look at the obvious thing, AI. How many of you are excited about AI? Just show your hand. Good. I will go through the hype cycle, right? So this is what is proven in the capabilities. This is theoretically. This is the impact it gives functionality, and this is the prototyping, right? AI you can look at a simple way, right? You have symbolic AI, which is old-fashioned system, robotic process optimization, right? Where you optimize the processes, you can save money, 20 to 30%. That's straightforward out of the box. That's proven for the last 5 years. It already works. Then you have narrow AI. Narrow AI is machine learning. Has been there for many, many years, right? So narrow AI is autonomous systems, it's vector databases, it's within an area confined that works really, really well. Everything in generative AI is limited, right? Or we call it, so this is called narrow AI and this is called big AI. In reality, the next portion is still in the hype cycle in early. That's deep machine learning. That's in the hype cycle early. And then you have artificial general intelligence, what you read, what everybody talks about, and you have the super intelligence, right? They're based on different principles and ideas. But what I want to bring to you is there are 8 disciplines in artificial intelligence. And we're all talking about one discipline, language model and transformers. The big revolution happened in 2017 with the transformers on the neural network on how we decide to do that, right? So let me demonstrate how you can apply it today. You have the trend cycle, you have the performance cycle, how companies perform, how they use it in their advantage, and you have the adoption cycle in the market. That's normally how you look at a trend cycle. This is what I do with the universities. We map it, we calculate and look all of this, right? So in reality, companies invest early in pilots, fail 19 times out of 20, invest a lot, but when you win big. Then you have, in the middle, the early adopters are the industry-specific elements where you invest in the industries. The model is more proven, and you have an advantage in healthcare, in supply chain, and all these elements. And then you have the late adapters, right? Each of them give a different benefits in terms of how much money you can make on it. People care about revenue stream. So in reality, it looks like this. Symbolic AI, robotic process optimization, is way, way over there. Then you have deep learning machines, you have intelligent rule engines, and you have organic rule engines, right? When you think about this, what you should take away from this is vector databases is a way you structure your data in a mathematical way to capture your information within your own system. That's your first way to create a virtual engine. If you use then the next way, a long chain, I know these are just terms, but they are terms within the community that you use. If you want to use your vector database towards a big language model, this is the link where you capture the data in a fragmented way to have a limited memory to use your data to reuse it again. You would use that in warehouse management. You would use that in your value chain. These elements are actually really good within your own elements. Then you have large language models. You have retrieval augmented RAG, right? So all of these ones, you can ask for the presentation. There's a detailed version on it, right? What I want to demonstrate to you goes a little bit this way. What is the practical version you need to use today? The practical version is robotic process optimization, financing, HR, any of these basic skills is not very expensive. You can get it for around 30 to 300K. When you looked 5 years ago, it was over there. It cost 3 to 5 million. That means it's far cheaper, it's easier to implement, and you get a higher return on investment because you lower the cost of this automatically, right? Then you can focus on, you have to focus on the AI regulations. The European AI Act is there to protect the consumers, to protect the information that is around it. It's because I've been sitting on the advisory board for the AI Act. The reasons for that, the future gold of Europe is the information. Pharmaceutical information, your company information. And this needs to be protected. So you see a little bit lower down, you see shadow AI. Shadow AI is everybody of you who has a company needs to have your team together and realize how do we want to handle AI. That means if anybody uses ChatGPT in the company, you say no go. You only have to use it in a certain way because you're exporting information, right? AI, big language model, is the biggest stealing of intellectual capital. So you have to protect your own base. And you have to set up certain rules because people sometimes are lazy. It's easy to do, but it's very dangerous, right? So you have to define your core skills and how to handle shadow AI. Shadow AI is how you handle your own information and how you handle your own AI development port. It's not a small thing. Then you have small AI modules. You have modular modules. So small AI modules is, for example, vector models, right? Cheaper. You have to think about an AI model costs around 10 times more in database than a normal database cost. Energy consumption is high. Resource consumption is high. Data, the machines are monsters in data consumption. Before it works, it needs to learn. That means you need to have a lot of data. If you need to succeed in small AI modules, you have to have a clear view on how you want to use your data. Look at AI like business intelligence on steroids. Let me also tell you here, there's no intelligence in AI. AI is the automation of intelligence. It's either greater or equal to human capabilities, but there's no intelligence. It does not understand what blue is. It does not understand what it comes out with. It's based on probabilities and statistics. I know in the US you hear the propaganda, you want to feel like it's thinking himself and it's doing something with itself. No, it's probabilities, it's statistics. It has no clue at all what it comes out with. It's like you loving a dog and you think the dog loves you back. It's not loving you back. It likes you because you feed it. So this is the important thing to it. You can take pictures of it. The whole view looks a little bit more like this. Then you see when you need to adopt it, right? This is for you. It was announced last week. Take a picture of it. It comes out. This is the big view for you. In the biorevolution, is Poland's big play on AI. It's Europe's big play on AI. Because when you look at organisms, everything that nature created is already based on algorithms. Everything is based on algorithms. So our body is by design already a computer. We need to decode the computer, how our cell works, how we interact with that, right? We need to take away the language model, use the transformers, and use the periodic table to use that in a different way and have a language model on top of it. We need to rethink the same elements on how to do it differently. This is our biggest potential, not small. It will create the future on cure. It will create the future on food. It will create the future on materials. This is the future on how we feel and sense. My wife went 10 years through menopause. I realized this is the least studied field in medicine. Why? Because it's the latest that happens for women, and it's so individually. and it's so little researched. So why is that relevant? Because when they're through the menopause, they don't know why they feel like they feel. It's a hormonal chaos that goes on. And we have the ability to enable and help that, right? We have the ability to change how we feel, how we sense, when we connect that element. This is the big holy grail that we're able to crack in Europe. So from my perspective, I am willing to actually see here in Poland I'm setting up a big fund in Dubai, South Korea, Ireland, and I want to see if we can do that for Poland too. I want to see if I can leverage 100 millions here for Poland for biorevolution. I ask Joanne if you can stand up. I ask her to take the lead. The ones of you who wants to participate in that, we can meet afterwards at the media center at 11 o'clock. We can define, we can write a memorandum of understanding. We can look at what we can do. This is the biggest potential for Poland, without a doubt. This is not something that you will just do. You have to define it, you have to test it, you have to trial and error. If you want to play with this, go to Joanne, she's right down there. So now I come to the most exciting part, the regulatory disruption that is happening. We decided in the Paris Agreement that by 2050, everybody wants to be 90% carbon neutral. And we decided that we agreed on an approach, all countries agreed on it, and Europe wants to be the leader on this. I've been sitting on the advisory board for the climate change for 7 years now. This is already implemented, and they're implemented in a certain way. So the first wave is the Fit for 55. That means the red ones you see, so the carbon market is divided into two elements. Governments and the large companies in Poland, and then the voluntary market. Voluntary market is a nice name. It means it's voluntary, but it's not voluntary. It's mandated in reality, but it's a nice name. That means everybody has to pay for their sins. So how are they doing it? They write a letter of sin for you, and you have to pay carbon credit for it. So how are they doing that? They're doing it in a simple way. They're scanning the forests. The captured carbon CO2 will be there. That's a digital asset that is stored there that you take, and from the products you're delivering or from the flights you take, you have to take a verified, proven method that this product is being sold. That's a carbon credit retirement program. That means carbon credit is a financial asset in the market now that you can leverage. So the second law they developed is a European climate law, supply chain management law. That means you need to have transparency over your supply chain, what product you get, how it's been delivered, how you're renewing yourself, and by the size of the companies, the taxation is already there. That means every company, every product you buy and sell, average company has to pay 15 to 25% of tax. Either you pay the tax when you ship it to Germany, or you pay tax here and you take it off your books. The carbon credit is not something you pay as a tax. If you are smart to invest, it's a financial asset in your book. The carbon credit is not disappearing. The forest you have scanned and you have retired program is still an asset. That means after years, that is a balance sheet in your books. It's like a dollar that you can exchange. It's a huge element. So, good. Then the next law is the European Green Deal. That means every organization needs to demonstrate how they renew themselves, how they source their products, how they renew themselves in printing, in energy. They need to demonstrate that the supply chain, the distribution, everything within that is directly and correctly managed. If not, they have to pay an extra tax. So this is a European tax system that already is set in place last year in October. They have 1 year grace period, so this year in October, if you ship something and you don't have a program, you have to pay for it. It's actually that real. So what is the big opportunity within that? The big opportunity within that is quite simple. You need a certified way to validate and demonstrate product. This is a rare opportunity for you to be the predator in your supply chain. That means you can make money in your supply chain. If you have a certification program, you buy carbon credit that is based on liquidity. I don't recommend anybody to buy Vera and all this stuff because you buy 0.1% of a carbon credit, it's worth nothing, and they have to go to the project and so on. You have to buy carbon credit where somebody already put $21 in the carbon credit. The carbon credit that you sell to your supply chain goes up to $45. So you take it off the price, you earn 2 times money. You earn money on your supply chain, and you earn money on when you distribute out. So you align the supply chain, and you have an ability to make money on your supply chain. That's a very, very rare opportunity that happens, because normally regulations is something that happens to you. This is the first time you can take advantage of a regulation to get a competitive advantage. Very, very rare. So, let's talk about something very simple, strategy. Strategy is not the same that you learned 20 years ago or 5 years ago. Strategy today, in a nutshell, is very simple. It's about 3 choices. What not to do. Within the what not to do, you define where is it you want to play to win. But you're deselecting what you don't want to do. And then, where do you want to differentiate? And what do you want to focus on? And that is the only sequence that you define a strategy on. So how do you define a strategy today? Today, when you look at an organization, the centerpiece of an organization is people. Within people, you build capabilities. And with capabilities and people, you have a service you deliver to your clients or product. Everything you see below that is technology, processes, something that supports you to deliver. Everything below that is non-core. It supports you to deliver what you deliver in the core. Everything in the middle is where you're industry specific. So how do you do a strategy? The only way you can map mega trends in strategy is in a value chain. In a value chain, you have your revenue model, your cost model, your performance model, your service model, your headcount distribution. I know this sounds a lot, but that's how you do it. And then within that, you do scenario thinking, how you want to do it, and where you're key differentiating, what you don't want to focus on, where you're differentiating and what you want to focus on. And based on this, you drive a strategy. You cannot run any company without having minimum 3 strategies today. I don't hope I surprised you with that. One is a growth strategy, which is based on competitiveness, because that drives revenue. One is an operational excellence strategy, right, where you're increasing your performance. And one is a cost model or partnership model. They're the 3 strategies every company has to focus on somehow. So, here comes the funny part. How can you operate today? So, everything you need today to adapt is technology. You need to adapt to robotic process optimization. Everything within here, you're focusing on automation, lowering your operating cost, increasing your operational excellence, right? Do you know how to increase your operational excellence? I know I'll go a little bit over time, but I think they will survive. So, the model I developed for Steve Jobs is a can, want, should do model. And when you look at the 6 business models and you want to do operational excellence, normally you look at your operating model, how you're already operating, how you're performing. Executives want to go from here to cost reduction because for them, the cost model is operational excellence. But this is like the danger zone. This is the death zone. This is where you should not go. This is where you cut to the bone and you destroy value. You normally go down to look from your operating model to your performance model. What is it you should transform internally? What it is you should transform externally. So transformation is changing your current abilities to adapt to something. And innovation, you invest in new capabilities to put it into your business. And then you have the cost model. Then you have the sweet spot, which is operational excellence. This model you use for any aspects. If you want to grow, you want to say your operating model, or you do your service model, then you look at your value model, and then you look at your revenue model. So you use these 6 business models and interchange them forth and back. That's actually how you do strategy today, just so you know, right? This is what you do with the big companies, and I'm sharing with you so you have the same abilities. It's not rocket science, but it's actually based on real stuff within the organization. So, what is then the big opportunities you have? So, you need to comply to regulations. You need to be carbon neutral as a company. You need to optimize, leverage your capital, right? What does that really mean? A rare opportunity today in manufacturing, a rare opportunity for everybody today. You have an asset, but you go to the bank and they don't want to leverage it. You need capital to grow, but you don't know how to do it. You need to be innovative to optimize your own capital. So when you look in manufacturing, you should focus on inventory financing. When you look as an IP, you need to leverage your IP as a capital. You need to leverage your resources as a capital. You need to find new ways to retrieve capital that is beyond the traditional way. You need to find a new way to revive competitiveness. I know you hunt me down, but I'm nearly finished, right? Take a picture of this. I can always go through later. This is actually how it looks in real life when you do it. The opportunity is, first level, you do your operating model, then you do your performance model, then you do your cost model. That brings you no more better than anybody else. Then you need to put the gear in and to say, where do I need to go? Which level of competitiveness do you have, right? There are 6 different levels of competitiveness, and where do I want to play with my product where? And by this, you are designing how you play. Even though I've done with many companies where you have all 3 strategies, depending on, this is a product that is running out of life cycle, I'm going for hyper competitiveness. This is a product where I can really leverage in the future, I'm going for this, right? So this is my closing element, I'm coming for you, right? You are all sitting here, you come here to look for opportunities, you come for something to sell, you're looking for new networks, you're looking for something, right? This is one of your greatest opportunities to put yourself one step behind and look at the people and bridge, connect, listen to something new, and partner. Why I'm actually saying this? Because we live in one of the greatest times of all. We have more food, we have more money, we have more opportunity, right? We have more equal rights. We have everything we have on the table. We are the greatest generation ever to live on the planet of Earth. There's no reasons why we should not embrace it. There's no reasons why we as a group here can collaborate together, find a path together, and to move together. So, I have one closing model for all of you when you go around here. When you look for rewards or revenue, and the risk are always associated for it, right? When the risk is higher than the reward, is where you should stop. You should not go here, right? When the rewards are higher than the risk, you should go here. When the risk and the rewards are higher, you should partner. So this area, you see everybody around here. When you don't have capabilities in the area, for you to invest in this will take more time, and you will probably have a higher risk with it. So this is where you need to partner, right? So what is it that makes us human? We connect, we support each other, we invest in each other, right? People see me today as one thing, but let me tell you a personal story. I come from an element where I was young. I'm double dyslexic. I've written 7 books. I've been stuttering all my life. The reasons why I don't stutter is because I pace up, right? I had a teacher when I was very young. Come from a normal school. I was sent to a special school with people in wheelchairs, with handicaps and so on. I was young. I had an inability to communicate. I was really, really frustrated. I had one German teacher that invested time in me. He had terrible coffee breath, but he invested time in me, and he identified to me that there's nothing wrong with me. He helped me to overcome my dyslexia, and he told me one thing that stuck with me in my life. He told me, your key skills is because you're dyslexic, you can see patterns. And that is the path I followed throughout my life. Because I used my biggest weakness as my strength forward. So most of you sit here, you have failures, you have weaknesses. Use your weakness and see the double side of it, what is the core strength of him, right? I was at his funeral in the beginning of 2000. I was the only person at his funeral. And I wondered, what does it take for another person to invest in somebody else without receiving anything back? Now I'm getting emotional with it. It's the same thing that everybody of you do. You have dreams, you have visions, you have ambitions. If you want to achieve your dreams, visions, and ambitions, you cannot do it alone. You need people to believe in you. You need people to invest in you. You need people to collaborate with you. You need a platform like this where you are able to collaborate. So use this opportunity to don't put your product out, but listen to what other people have to say and find a way where you can collaborate. If you're interested to participate in the bio revolution, go to Joanna, she's right there, right? Thank you very much for your time.